What's going on, y'all? Savage here. This will be a video response roundup, I guess. Quite a few videos I'd missed and kind of stacked up. Uh, have a little time today. Waiting for a couple calls. So, a great alpinist had the saying or mantra of, "I will not die today." And so far, that's worked every time. uh, some pretty good videos out there. I had to catch up because sometimes you'll click one and say there was something before that in response and you want to go back. Uh, First, I think, was Lyrics of Dust, making a kind of direct line to Econ Recon. And completely agree there. Maybe I know a tiny hair more than you about him, but expressing a very good point there, and we would love to see more out of econ than what's being presented, more than noticing constantly. You're a noticer, like, oh, sweet, let's kick that can endlessly down the road, and maybe you get to a hill where you don't have to kick it anymore, it just goes. Hopefully you've got more to express um, publicly to the world, and especially to the group, to the circle, than just that. A newer channel here, obviously, so I've got to make sure I'm subscribed to everybody. I missed the Stoke video. Depending on what phone, what time, what place. I think it was obviously the Savage Institute is subscribed, but I guess this one wasn't, so I went ahead and did that. Really good video from Stoke about kind of how friends deal with one another. Referring to his IRL friends that are a little longer lasting than us, and making really valid points about how we kind of deal with each other, blow up, call names, and go away. Historically, the people closest to me don't really do the blow up part. Almost everything is left at maximum with some heightened tension. But there's that understanding built in from decades and decades. Um, so really appreciate that one. I mean, I could go into more detail, but I would just recommend that you go watch Stokes' video, and that would say a lot. So really good to see that, and I mean, Stokes got to be showing a lot of humility there from lame dog calling you a bigot and using the ADL to prove it, or the Merriam-Webster's dictionary, when no matter how you feel, I made the point to someone before that how much time, energy, and focus are you going to put on that stuff? What difference are you going to make? To what end is this endless talk? And does that ignore the other problems if it's just to the end of the troubled talks? So greatly appreciated there. Backwoods had talked about some things about the Kirk stuff, about Civil War stuff. And kind of got into the maybe not even the younger generations. It kind of spreads across that you got a lot of men that are too comfy and lazy to wage such a war because they have things to eat, things are good, and as terrible as we can imagine this American existence is, when we step out of our head for a second, we can realize how amazing and lucky we are as well. I think Backwoods seems to me to be incredibly grounded, and I've always appreciated that. The first and last of the string of the 226 videos I caught, and the first one was, I think, like why the left lost 226. That one I mean, it's cool insight into the thoughts and mind of 226, but to me, I thought I've never met a person in my life who wants trans people dead. Never in my life met a person of any political variety or apolitical that doesn't want or doesn't think trans people exist. I don't get where that comes from. I hear the rhetoric, but it doesn't fall on deaf ears. But I understand Instagram comments and memes to not be an accurate reflection of reality, to not be an accurate measurement of the temperature in the room. I know there are other examples, but that struck me as odd because you can find, in the pit of hell of what Instagram comments had turned into. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that maybe isn't someone's clear, concise thoughts or true feelings, whether that be trolling or any other variety of inauthentic thoughts and feelings that go into memes and Instagram comments. It's wild to me because the fascists and the Nazis regarding uh, LGBT plus 1000X, which I like it. You just referred to it as gay issues or gay political topics, which seems more respectable to say out loud than 30,000 letters and symbols and degree marks and let's say Swedish letters with lines over it. The irony to me is we're talking about these fascists and Nazis. Granted, you're not the same age as I am, but it seems almost every conservative or Republican or currently right leaning independent is much more liberal regarding gay and trans issues than Bill Clinton was. Let's be perfectly honest about that. Was Bill Clinton a Nazi and a fascist? No, of course not. I think a lot of the progressives, say extremely strong minded or strong opinioned independents and extreme rightists, only have a reflection of today as reality without any context to the past. Not that they don't understand that, it's just that the rhetoric seems to come from there, and the extreme opinions or judgments seem to be coming from that position. So, you've been around for a little while. I don't know as long as me and my 50,000 channel names, but maybe I don't have a good bearing of where you're coming from. Talking about the Civil War side of um, young men or just reeling to go, and you may be right and I may be wrong here. The Gen Z people, you thought their idea of war is colored from the back end of the GWAT. I think it's literally more colored from video games and random clips they see online, typically less than 60 seconds. So the nature of the TikTok brain kind of affirms itself and takes hold regarding the, people in their 40s and 50s. Since I'm dead in the middle of that, so if they can't pick up a ruck full of AR mags, then, your opinion doesn't matter. And, not insulted by that. In fact, as somebody who can pick up a ruck full of AR mags and probably burn down some of these fat Zoomers and just keep going. The same guy who gets out of the hospital and just walks home, 87 degrees, fully dressed in slippers, holding a blanket, and I will never stop until I meet that goal, until I get what I need. So A good example there is, you said unless you're charismatic. I imagine if things occur and pop off today, tomorrow, that I have a network here, have an area of operation that's immediately secured with a very, very large element, much bigger than a squad, that is ready to defend, not offend. Because if you're right, and I don't think you are about the younger generation, I consider the Zoomers, for the most part, a bunch of pussies, uh, out of shape compared to previous generations, more deluded than previous generations, more overly confident than previous, almost every generation. And that could be, the old people telling the Beatles fans that, oh, these kids have too long a hair, and maybe I suffer from that. Uh, but I certainly have a good level to build off of. Some of them can move, some of them can shoot. Not many of them can communicate, although our technology is sky high. I don't know how many of these Zoomers know how to work a radio. Uh, how many of these people have the organizational skills? Probably being one of the biggest problems. Anyway, I don't buy it. You seem super certain that the Civil War is going to pop off. You've been certain for a long time, and it's going to be the Zoomers, and you just don't understand these kids. Uh, to saying that to the backwoods, and some of that's true. Backwoods probably has some years on me, just based on voice and stuff, and but yeah, I don't buy it. Uh, it can be spurred on. You could be completely right if somebody wants to make that happen on a grand scale, but they don't really got it like that, and you'd have to trick them into it. And that just may occur, and you could be 100% right on that. A lamb dog. So you were more hung up on and not that you were hung up to phrase it like that, but seems like you were more caught up with the fence rider thing than almost anything else. By the way, for the audience, because it seemed like I was harsh on lamb dog, or because any certain way, any doubtful stuff, like nothing's changed on my end. I went from A, B to C so many years ago that I hold zero grudges for any people. Anybody. Zero grudges. Most everything you say rolls right off my back. And it may, take the good stuff, put it in my pocket, and hold on to it for a little while. You guys are appreciated either way. The fence rider thing from Lamb Dog. Context. So making sure Lamb Dog was okay. I sent Lamb Dog a video to make sure myself and Corey C both said, we love Lamb Dog. And I think he appreciated that. Because we do. Disagreement doesn't mean there's a lack of love. Strong words don't mean that either. Being a fence rider politically, there's great humility in that. There's a contemplative nature to it, and that is appreciated. When I said that, I wasn't bullshitting. If I was, I think I would have said it differently anyhow. But what I meant by that, and what a fence rider seems to me to be in your case, is the nature of a people pleaser. It's rooted in loss, rooted in old pain and scars and wounds. It's rooted in trying to make things better, trying to seek agreement. And that's not necessarily worse than a concrete position, especially someone that's too sure of himself. At times, it's strikingly obvious to me that position is there, and what is presented is things that are kind of guiding me to what you think while you're trying to please people, whether that be from loss of life from family or friends, a loss of friendship from family and friends, a feeling of disconnection from family and friends, feeling someone disassociating from you. And I could be completely wrong, but either way, that's how I feel when I say those things. Now, sometimes I am more polite than others, but my directness is often the same. So, Lamb Dog, let me know if any of that's true. Maybe you have a different explanation. And I didn't think you'd take much offense to that, as it's kind of been discussed over a long period of years. And I feel it's kind of added in with the, whatever we used to say, like, Lamb Dog will make a video, and it's like an 18-minute poem that you could have summed up in 60 seconds, which would fit the TikTok brain generation. Things like that and that's with me and Creative M2. Maybe Corey and other people, maybe Stoke, stuff like that. And we still love you, man. It seems like you would like more reassurance than others, and I think we're happy to give you just that. And I think you deserve it if that's what you like, and just trying to avoid saying the word need here, brother. In general, just another day for me. Stick with the mantra, I will not die today. So the willpower is going to win out no matter what. Feel like I'm dying here, but I think there's a way to overcome that. So, gonna keep pushing on, enjoying the good time. A lot of adventures, some forced, some not, ahead, and we'll see how that plays out. I've always appreciated the circle in a way. That takes up some time, but certainly guides us as a whole in a different part of humility. As I mentioned, Stokes' friends in real life, and I probably did, but hope to God I didn't say IRL. I'm a free speech absolutist until somebody says fumble the bag in real life, and then it's game on. Corey was just an online friend. Should I have time? Sailfish Sound System. I'll just go visit him. Like, that is my friend. I don't have internet friends. There's like internet connections and contacts, but you either are or you aren't. Lamb Dog, I consider you a friend. And if I'm in your neck of the woods, I am absolutely reaching out. And if you have the time, we're going to hang out. I don't believe in internet friends. That is some bullshit to me. You either are or you aren't. And once you've earned that, or however you want to phrase it, it's hard to make that go away from me. I'm not a bullshitter, and I'm kind of a love you forever type of person, so you gotta work really hard to fuck that up. And none of you have done that. So I appreciate your guys' time. For the love of God, I've made my own 19-minute poem that I could have said in 60 seconds. So all the best, all. Savage out.